We're visiting with Dr. Natalia from Odessa, Texas, Texas Tech University Health Science Center, and Dr. Paul Brownbill, who is a visiting lecturer and research scientist from Manchester, England. And they're sharing their information on common research work done with the placenta and the fetus. And so as we talk about this, I'm looking ahead at, you've talked a lot about where your funding comes from, because this doesn't just happen. You've got to have funding. This is an expensive proposition. But for us to go, look how far we've come with the knowledge of medicine just in our lifetime. And it's just getting faster and faster. And so as you look at that, do you see the funding more difficult to get, or easier to get, or about the same?
I think there have been some difficulties because of the worldwide crisis in the economy, which we're now coming out of, and of course this has affected the pockets of everybody and the governments as well. And so there has been a little dip that's happened, but the important thing about funding, whilst it's difficult, is that there is a competition for that funding, and that the money is given to the most competitive people with the best ideas. So part of our work is to write grant applications, to think about the most prominent and important questions for medicine today, and then to have that reviewed by peers who make an evaluation of whether or not this is a worthwhile venture to fund. And this happens internationally.
That's why, again, coming back to the network which Dr. Brownbill is building, is this network is extremely important for the peer review. That your
peer reviews are
absolutely
everything.
Your colleagues know that your research is important, and it's not just something you just invented and don't know where to go to. Your methods are not validated. So this is the quality control, if you will, of the all research all over the world, which is going into placenta. And especially now with NIH initiative, human placenta initiative, where NIH is giving a lot of attention to this human placental project, this quality control become critical for the development of this direction of NIH.
And when you were writing your grants, did you say, now we want to write a grant to get Dr. Brownbill over here? That just kind of came out of, that was a good thing that happened after you got your money. And
it's absolutely, you are not keeping in mind to bring somebody. You have the idea, and at least I know this is for Dr. Brown and for me and for my colleagues, that you have the idea how to tackle the problem, how to help your patient, how to help the babies, and then you're finding the best people in the field to go together to solve this problem. This is how these collaborations are coming to place, and of course we are extremely lucky that our flagship institute in Lubbock, Texas Tech University Health Science Center, especially Vice President of Research, Dr. Michael Cohn, they understand the necessity of the critical mass and this collaboration, and they're supporting this collaboration, like visit of the Dr. Brownbill.
So do you see that eventually you will invite some of the research scientists in America to come to Manchester?
Absolutely, and next year we are hosting an international conference on placentas in Manchester, and we expect about 500 delegates to come there. And the local community knows about this, but it's a great forum. It happens every year where we exchange ideas, and the great things about conferences is finding links with the right people, and not just over the telephone, but really having long conversations, evaluating each other's work as they're presented in different ways, and then mapping out the way forward with workshops that exist as well. and it also gels us together as people, and that's a really important thing, is teamwork, team building, understand each other, and making sure that we can work with each other is a really important thing.
And I would like just to add the personal remark to this. Dr. Brownbill is exceptional team worker. He and team player. He was with us yesterday from 6:45 in the morning to very late evening, and this is every time we are asking him questions, he is so generous with explanation, and every time with a smile. I never saw him tired, and it was exceptional experience for all of us. And knowing that Dr. Brownbill is one of the experts in his field, and seeing him working so hard together with us, with our small team, it's great experience.
So anyway, to put it bluntly, they're squeezing every bit of knowledge out of you.
Absolutely, that's the other way of looking at it. But it's and you're too kind, Natalia. What you find is a real buzz that happens when scientists get together with good ideas. There is a synergy, but there's also an energy involved in that process as well. And this is our fuel, really, that keeps us moving. It's a real great experience.
And so where do you think in the world of your study we are in? Are we just scratching the surface in your study of the fetus and the placenta, or do you feel like we've learned a lot?
Well, there are always new challenges, and before you know it, another virus comes along called the Zika virus.
And then it
changes your perspective totally. And giving you different approach to the placenta, which you didn't think about because this problem not there before. So now you need to go through the different angle of the perspective to the placental function. So this is the reality of the world.
Well, and something like HIV, did that just change completely how you were studying the placenta?
There were some groups that were set up to look at whether or not the HIV virus crosses the placenta, and I think it does in some cases, but not in all cases. And those processes are very intricate in the way that does that, and trying to understand differences between different patients in the way that the outcome happens with a disease is really more and more important in medicine today. We call it stratification of diseases because some people have a response and others don't.
And what you're saying is that every day is a new day in the research lab, because you never know what kind of outside influences.
Absolutely, what problem you will be tackling.
My goodness, we're going to have them come back for another program because we've got so much more to talk about. But thank you so much to Dr. Brownbill and to Dr. Natalia for setting this up and arranging it. We'll be back next Sunday with another program, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.